Right then, to the Premier League we go. We discussed it, of course, on yesterday's show. Cristiano Ronaldo storming off before the end of that win against Spurs. Storming off when he still could have, in theory, been brought on as a substitute. This is what the club said. Cristiano Ronaldo will not be part of the Manchester United squad for this Saturday's game against Chelsea. The rest of the squad is fully focused on preparing for that fixture. Now, over the last hour, we heard a response, didn't we, from Cristiano Ronaldo on Instagram. It's a long one. Get ready. As I've always done throughout my career, I try to live and play respectfully towards my colleagues, my adversaries and my coaches. That hasn't changed. I haven't changed. I'm the same person, the same professional that I've been for the last 20 years, playing elite football, and respect has always played a very important role in my decision-making process. I started very young. The older and most experienced players' examples were always very important to me. Therefore, later on, I've always tried to set the example myself for the youngsters that grew in all the teams that I've represented. Unfortunately, that's not always possible, and sometimes the heat of the moment gets the best of us. Right now, I just feel that I have to keep working hard in Carrington, support my teammates, and be ready for everything in any given game. Giving in to the pressure is not an option. It never was. This is Manchester United, and united we must stand. Soon we'll be together again.
Was there an apology there?
That's very much the point, isn't it? As we welcome in Stevie Nicol and Don Hutchinson. What's interesting, Don, I thought it was always like last. This is Manchester United, and United we must stand. Soon we'll be together again. Hey, they're all together. This is the best players they've played all season. They're doing fine, Ronnie. You're the big problem here. Does he just not see it?
I don't think he does, Dan. This is the beginning of the end. I think the saddest part of the whole situation was when Ronaldo actually walked off the pitch with a couple of minutes to go. His teammates didn't even know he'd done it. And that is actually quite sad. I think the statement was full of waffle, talking about respecting his teammates. And, he didn't respect his teammates. The manager had a couple of subs that he could have potentially made towards the end of the game. He didn't want to come on the pitch. He was petulant. It's all about him. And I don't think Man U can ever move on until Ronaldo goes. It's one of these sad situations that they find themselves in. I think Erik ten Hag and the club have done exactly the right thing. It's a bold move, but I think it's the right move, taking him completely out the squad for the Chelsea game. And now, I think for Ten Hag going forward, he can either go one or two ways. He can never play Ronaldo again. I don't think he will. I think he'll play him in the games that he chooses to play in, which might be Thursday night's Europa League, and then just concentrate on keeping people like Martial, Rashford, Elanga, Sancho, Anthony, all the guys that are important to Man United together in the squad. I think this is, as I said, the beginning of the end for Ronaldo.
The one thing I disagree with Don there on is I think Manchester United have moved on. It's not a case of Manchester United can't move on until Ronaldo is sold or his contract is up or whatever it may be. I think they've handled the situation really well. I think for all the questions around Ten Hag coming into a club of Manchester United's stature, dealing with a player of Cristiano Ronaldo's stature, especially given his history with the club, I think he's handled this absolutely perfectly. The team are playing well. You step out of line, you're reprimanded for it. I'll make the decision around whether you play or not, whether you're in squads or not, whether we have an easy Europa League tie or not, and I decide to throw you in. That's his decision now. And I think more power to him. I think that dressing room needed that show of authority from Erik ten Hag, and they got it. Now, Ronaldo can go on and say whatever he likes. He's entitled to it, given his following. That statement, I guess I can't call it an apology because Ali's right. There's no apology in there. It's just some pressure got to me, and so that's it. Deal with it. I don't understand that in the slightest. But all that being said, as far as I can see, Manchester United have moved on.
He got there. He got to the point where he was about to apologize and then said,
never mind.
I do think that they've handled the situation as well as you possibly can. The only mistake that I think Manchester United has made here is in not moving on from Cristiano Ronaldo even before the season started. Say, Cristiano, that's the door, baby. See you guys later. Because here's the thing. This soap opera at some point was going to blow up. It has continued. It always becomes a topic of conversation. And whatever Cristiano Ronaldo does, whether he's playing or not, the camera is always on him. Mm-hmm. So when he's not playing, they're looking at his expression. Oh, what's he doing on the bench? Is he sulking? Is he not sulking? Is he shaking his head? Is he nodding? What is he doing? That's a headache that I think Manchester United kept around. And so that sort of poisoned the water to begin with. Now this is just a continuation of that same soap opera. Now we just have Cristiano Ronaldo walking out the door, Manchester United having to deal with it. If they had dealt with this before the season started, then we wouldn't be having this conversation.
See, I'm a little bit torn on that because Ronaldo was United's leading scorer last season. So as much as you may want to move on from his theatrics, he produced on the field last season at the very least. And while there were a lot of questions around his squad...
But also as well, we know that he wanted to leave. United weren't going to stop him. Nobody wanted him, which is another element to it. Stevie, what did you make of Ronaldo's statement?
Well, it seems to be the time of year for the big-time Charlies to talk some nonsense. We got Griezmann doing it last week. He was another one coming out with some rubbish, didn't apologise either for the way he behaved the first time round. And now we got Ronaldo coming out with similar type of nonsense, other than just saying, all he had to do is say, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. And everybody would have thanked him and moved on. But no, can't do it. And as the boys said, I completely agree. I think Ten Hag has dealt with it the correct way, short, sharp, straight to the point, you're not involved in the weekend, and we move on. Perfect way to deal with it.
It's an amazing thing, ego, right? Cristiano has been who he has been. Well, yeah, I am looking at you, Dan. It's an amazing thing that Cristiano, a guy who has been at the highest level for so long, and he's writing this statement, right? And he knows deep in his soul, the next thing is to apologize. And as he's putting it together,
he didn't write this.
He can't.
He didn't write this, Andy. Someone's written it for him.
Okay, okay. But at some point, he must have, at the very least, taken a look.
He has to take responsibility.
He must have taken a look and say...
He'd walked off.
I'll tell you what's more likely, the fact that, somebody actually wrote it, and within the statement was, I'm sorry, and he said, no, you got to delete that. You got to delete that. Yeah. I don't want a piece of that. My point is, ego doesn't allow you to see what's so very obvious. It's obvious to everybody else, but you're so far in it. You're so elbow deep and knee deep in it that you don't... Me? Cristiano? Apologizing to Manchester United for what I've done for this club? Are you kidding me? Are you joking? You're lucky I'm putting out a statement.
The thing for me
is... He relates to this quite well.
the thing for me is, as you see Ronaldo walking on the sidelines, the first thing that came to my mind was the 2016 Euro final, where he comes off injured and he stands on the sidelines, not just cheering on, but coaching. And I think that showed a side of Ronaldo that maybe we didn't expect. And for as much praise as he got then for that, I think he's deserving of just as much criticism this time around.
Dom, we talked before about how vocal you were in the dressing room. Is there any point in anybody of a senior level within that squad talking to him?
No. Well, no, because I don't think anyone's got a voice there, Dan. That's the problem. I don't think there's any experience in there that would stand up. I think it's quite interesting when you look back 6 months ago. I think Chiellini and Bellucci were quite adamant and quite open on their relationship and what Ronaldo done to the dressing room. Those are the figures that you need to get hold of Ronaldo. United haven't got that. So if you're a player in that dressing room and you're looking at what Ronaldo done last night and you're looking at the work Ten Hag's doing as the manager, and maybe 6 months ago under Ralf Rangnick or a little bit beforehand under Oli, you might have sort of sided with Ronaldo because he's such a legendary character, figure, player. You might have sort of drifted with him a little bit. Now, as I said, if you're a young player there and you're looking at what Ronaldo's done and you're looking at the manager and the work that he's doing, no question you are walking and you are heading towards what Ten Hag's doing because he's the future, not Ronaldo. And I agree with the boys. Ten Hag's put his foot down the morning after the night before and he's just squashed it. He's shown his authority. And he said, listen, I'm the boss here. What you done last night will never happen again. If it happens again, he's probably finished forever. But it's just a stain, Dan. It's a shame and it's a stain on his legendary figure and what he's done in the game. But it's getting to the point, as the lads are saying, it's all about him. A blind man could see what he was going to do. You know, we seen it last season when Ranić didn't want to play him in the Man City game, so he had a potential hip injury or a back injury, mystery one that no one could see. This was always going to blow up at some point, and it's done it last night. And as I said before, if you're in that dressing room, you are going with the manager 100%.
MLS next stop, Stevie?
I don't think so. No, I think he's probably going to go back to Portugal. I think that would be my guess. Back where he knows it's unconditional love and he can do what he wants, and he's not going to have to. Even if people ask him to apologise, he's not going to have to deal with any of that. He'll be able to do what he wants. And as far as having somebody talking to him in the dressing room, let's be honest. You have to be available to take a little bit of advice, regardless of who's telling you. You could have Pele or Messi in that dressing room, and Ronaldo, his ears will be shut closed. It won't matter who it is. He's in the position where he doesn't want to hear it. It doesn't matter who's telling him. He thinks he knows best. Everything's against him. It's not fair. Woe is me. So he ain't looking for any advice. He just wants to do it his way. But to answer your question, as I said, I think Portugal's the place for him.
But come to America, you're Cristiano Ronaldo. You're going to get all that love, all that attention that you get in Portugal, but this is the States. You know, it's going to be big time.
And you're going to get all the attention, but it's all positive attention. It's all lovey-dovey attention. It's Cristiano, thank you for being here, sort of thing. It's that sort of environment, and minus the pressure. The fact that you can be a superstar and people are just going to gravitate towards you just because of that. Not because they expect a certain level of performance. MLS would be drooling.
Right.
And I mean drooling for the opportunity to have Cristiano Ronaldo come to Major League Soccer. It's something that from MLS perspective makes all the sense in the world. From Cristiano's perspective, that's different. That's such a complex mind that we're dealing with and such a complex personality that he has to be fully on board, because otherwise he may become somebody else's headache here in Major League Soccer if he's not willing to comply with some of the things that go on in this league.
What's interesting, Shaka, you think when he scored that first free kick for Manchester United against you back in the day, and the legacy that he built at Manchester United, and what he achieved under Sir Alex.
The legacy I allowed him to build.
Yes, of course.
You're so giving.
And then, of course, after Juventus, we beat City. We got our boy back home. Yeah. Share prices go up. Shirt sales explode. This has damaged his legacy, isn't it? No question.
I think it has. Not to the point that I think anybody harps on it long term once he's done playing, but just given the reputation that he's built for himself as a player, I don't see how this helps. And you wanted, I think anybody who's had that kind of career, you want to see a graceful exit for both player and whatever clubs he's involved with. You feel that the game deserves that they all deserve that, and I don't think that's the case, especially with him being back at Manchester United. To your point, if this happens at Juventus, for argument's sake, I think it's less damaging than going back to United and it happening in this way. Where he goes from here or how he moves on, he will clearly define. I think the other side to that same discussion about whether he comes to MLS and the kind of love, wherever Ronaldo lands on the planet, he's going to get that kind of love.
Yes.
That's the one thing. As long as it's just about his presence and it's less about how much he elevates the team, he's going to get that love. Whether it's here in the US, whether it's in the Middle East, whether it's back in Portugal, he's going to get that. So this can be mended. I don't think it's a critical blow to legacy, but it's one that I think the game could have done without.
What it is for the Cristiano Ronaldo apologists, this is only a bleep. This is not.
Yeah.
This is.
What did you expect? The manager didn't respect
absolutely.
him. No one gave him a run in the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So those people you kind of put to one side. Now, if you are somebody who has thought that Cristiano Ronaldo was all about his ego, was all about him first and then everybody else. This is, I'm talking not only fuel to the fire, it's just dropping a bomb on. It's like, here you go ahead. Because it just feeds into every perception that you had of Cristiano Ronaldo. Every thought that you've had of Cristiano Ronaldo before that you maybe thought, well, maybe he's not as arrogant as we think he is. Maybe his ego is not as big as we think it is. You're like, no, yes it is. No, yes it is. My bad. Yes it is. And so I think it does create a divide between those that really don't like Cristiano Ronaldo and those that love Cristiano Ronaldo. And those that love Cristiano Ronaldo will harden their position. And those that do not, now, even more than before, they're obviously holding fast to their opinions.
What kind of has defined the narrative of this conversation looking forward as Manchester United as a whole, Don, is their performances of late without Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, a great, arguably their best showing so far this season, that win against Spurs. If they're losing 3-0 and you don't bring him on and he storms off, then we have a completely different conversation. But the fact that they are so much better without him on the pitch changes it. Ten Hag has got to take credit for that, because that was really impressive from United yesterday, wasn't it, Don?
It was. I thought they played really well, Dan. They stepped onto Spurs, typical Spurs performance against the big sides. We've seen that against Chelsea. They were lucky in that game, seen it against Arsenal where they went defensive. But credit Man United, I thought, was their best performance. And it was the perfect time. If this was going to happen at any point in the season, it happened after this, or during this game, and it happened after the game where Ten Hag had all the cards in the world, Dan, because he'd been watching his team have a fantastic game, played really well, some brilliant performances from individuals and the team. And he literally just stepped on Ronaldo straight after the game, first thing in the morning. It was perfect for him. And I think this is a test now for Ronaldo in himself and how much he wants it, how much he loves the game. Because we had this conversation about 3 or 4 months ago where Ronaldo was going to end up. And I mentioned MLS and we had the little chat and it was, no, he wants to stay in the Champions League. He wants to play for a Champions League club because he wants to chase down Messi's records and he wants to break all the records. Well, this is a point now where this is a test on how much he loves the game. Is he willing to go to wherever it may be and play for, and I say this loosely because it's still really, really big fees, but 50 grand a week or 100 grand a week. How much do you want it to stay in the game? Because Zlatan's doing it at 40, 41. How much do you want to stay in the game? So this is a test for him.